About a month ago, I started a Terraria Anarchy server to celebrate reaching 1,000 subscribers, but after 3 days, they had already destroyed the entire world. But I still had control over the server for almost the rest of the month, and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I started a second Anarchy server, but this time, I added some controls in an effort to prevent the world from being destroyed. Everything that breaks blocks en masse was banned and unusable. And I figured out how to force server-side characters so I can guarantee no one would bring anything from another world. And I dramatically increased spawn rates so people would die more often, and it was funny. I thought that with these limitations, I would be able to save the world and help it last for the rest of the month. And, to my surprise, it actually did. But at what cost? See, the point of this video isn't to tell you what transpired on the server. Rather, I think there's something else that's much more important to share with you. Terraria is a fantastic game, and it, like most things, is always so much more fun with friends. But how can you extend that to a community of people you don't know, who can also come and go onto the world as they please? When playing with friends, you can coordinate times to play and do things together, though I admit sometimes even they will leave you behind. But when you open a server to the internet, coordination is, of course, much harder, if not impossible. Some people aren't interested in waiting for those who have less free time, and time zones are also going to make it difficult for people to do anything together. Plus, you never know who's joining your server. Are they someone who likes taking their time, or someone whose only objective is defeating Moonlord? Some of these issues truly feel insurmountable with Terraria, and despite how I like to say Terraria is better than Minecraft, online servers are much easier in Minecraft, from a certain point of view. Terraria has a rather limited world size and a linear progression system. That means that leaving people to their own devices is a sure recipe for disaster. If the world was essentially endless and didn't have very much in the way of actual progression like Minecraft, then it would be easier for people to come and go as they please, without any issues or fear of being left behind. On a Minecraft server, at most, you have to be concerned about needing to move thousands of blocks away from the original spawn point before being able to gear up and really get started. But in Terraria, if you miss the first 10 minutes, then you can be put at a severe disadvantage. One of my complaints about Minecraft is the lack of any kind of progression. You kinda just collect what you want and are done, while Terraria is made for progression. Which I guess means Minecraft has a leg up on Terraria in this way. This is not to say that I wish Terraria didn't have the perfect progression system that it has, but rather it's an acknowledgement that a game built with progression in mind is going to suffer when you open it to the internet, because once you're left behind, that's it. There's nothing left for you. Sure, you can build or wander around the world a bit, but once the server enters hard mode in particular, if you're not prepared, then it's going to be a frustrating slog. Even with that said, I still think Terraria is a much better game, even if most of the world disagrees. But it does seem to me like Minecraft is a sandbox better built for large communities to enjoy together, while Terraria requires some sort of silent agreement between everyone involved not to destroy everything in the 10 minutes that would be required to do so. Even the infamous Minecraft server, TB2T, is alive and running over a decade after its founding, while my first world was destroyed by a single guy in the span of 3 days. Now I could have just reset the world on a different seed and allowed people to play through it again, and just kept on resetting it after each time it was destroyed. But this wouldn't solve the problem. The same people would keep on defeating the game, and the same people would be left behind, and eventually both would get bored and tired of the world constantly resetting. I added limitations in an effort to prevent this from happening, but with my admittedly limited knowledge of servers, I couldn't stifle progression enough to make people feel involved, and those who were on all the time grew impatient with those who weren't. And perhaps worst of all, the server itself just became boring. It didn't take long for people to decide that it simply wasn't worth playing on the world because they were already too far behind and so much of the world had already been looted, and that there was little point in even trying. The only way for them to get gear would be either ask me to give them the gear or else fish all day, and neither of these options of course are very satisfying. And then, those who had been on the server all the time struggled to find things to do because they had already defeated the game, which I guess is a problem they brought upon themselves for rushing through. Even so, despite lasting a little longer, the server quickly became a ghost town. So is that it? Are Terraria servers doomed to fail because no matter what you do, you can't make it a community-based event? and the world is doomed to be destroyed, and even if you tried, you really need to know servers inside and out to prevent things from moving too fast while also keeping people engaged. I made this server to keep a promise to my viewers, but it was also the first time I had even attempted hosting any kind of server at all. I was woefully unprepared, and I'm a one-man crew. I can't do it all on my own, and I don't have enough hours in the day to research everything I'd need to know to make the server I wanted. And even if I did do the research, I don't know if it's possible to make the server I'm looking for. I did do some research on the second server, but even still, I wasn't able to give people a good enough reason to stick around. Maybe I should just chalk it up as a failure and not concern myself with servers in the future. But I did make another promise that when I reached 10,000 subscribers, I'd make another server, and I have approached that 10,000 number a lot faster than I thought I would. Thanks for that, by the way. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. So I've been thinking for weeks of how I can make a better server. How could I make a better experience for my viewers? And I think I've come up with something. It doesn't check all the boxes or all the ideals I want for a server, but I think I can at least provide a unique experience. But that theory of mine will be put to the test very soon. Will it surpass my wildest dreams, or will it crash and burn like my first two did? And if this one fails, perhaps I should hang up my hat on this idea altogether and just stick with playing with the friends I know. And I'm also curious about what you think. Have you ever played on a Terraria server with people you don't know? An online one where absolutely anybody could be on the world. How did it go? Was it any fun for you? Make sure to comment below so I know how it went. Maybe that will help guide me in the next server. We're soon approaching 10,000. The moment of truth is right around the corner. And I'll let you know what happens next time.